It is Wednesday, January the 9th, and I'd like to call to order the meeting of Silicon Valley Clean Energy Authority, JPA. First order of business is a roll call, please.
Yes, good evening. Chair Corrigan.
Here.
Vice Chair Abikoga. Here. Alternate Director Yulo. Here. Director Smith. Here. Director Miller. Here. Director Sinks.
Here.
Director Sayak.
Here.
Director Gibbons. Here. Director Bruins.
Present.
Thank you. I will note that alternate Director Enda has arrived, and we are missing Director Cortese, Director Fred Tovar from Gilroy, and we do not have a Monte Sereno representative.
Who'd you just see?
That sounded like a bunch of mumbles.
Can we start with just a brief hello for some of our new directors who are sitting here? I'd like to say hello and welcome you to the meeting tonight. Give you a chance to introduce yourself. No, I think we also have Fred, but since he's MIA right now, we'll start with you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Marika Sayak, council member from the town of Los Gatos. This is my second term. I have been an alternate, although I think I've been to only one meeting since last year. But looking forward to it, have been actively following it from the town and was a key supporter in making sure that Los Gatos was a participant.
Great, and welcome. And since Fred's not here, we'll wait to pounce on him or her when he arrives. I assume it's a he with Fred. I don't want to be too presumptuous, though. Okay, so the next item on tonight's agenda is public comment. Is there anyone here from the public wishing to address the board? I will say that we'll give you 2 minutes to speak, more if it's really compelling, I guess. But we will not be able to act on it tonight if it's not on this evening's agenda. Seeing no one, I'm going to move on. First item for a vote is the consent calendar. Is there any item on the consent calendar that needs to be pulled? Hello, Garish?
Right. Yes, I'm sorry, a little last minute clarification. We'd like to actually pull item 1E and move it to next month, please.
1E moved to February.
Yes.
2019.
Yes.
Got to get used to writing that. Okay, other than that, are there any other, oh yes.
I don't intend to pull, but I will not be voting on 1A just because I was not a participant at the last meeting.
Terrific. Can we note that in the minutes, please?
I'll move the consent calendar minus item 1E.
Which you're recommending be moved to February.
Which will be moved, yes, recommended.
Second.
Moved to February.
Is there any discussion about anything else or members of the public who wish to comment on tonight's consent calendar? All right, I'll bring it up for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining other than item 1E? 1A, sorry. Therefore, the consent calendar moves on. 1A was the one she's abstaining on. Okay, that gets us to the regular calendar. Item number 2, the CEO report. Hello.
Happy New Year, Board, Chair Corrigan. So I'd like to start my report by introducing the newest member of our team, Justin Zagunis, and as he makes his way to the podium to introduce himself, we are very glad to have recruited him. He comes highly recommended, and he's known to several of the folks who already work at SVCE. We managed to recruit him from the city of Palo Alto, and maybe Justin, you could share a few words about yourself.
Hello, can you all hear me? Yeah. Very nice to meet all of you. As Girish said, I'm Justin Zagunis. I'm most recently from City of Palo Alto Utilities. Before that, I was in a master's program at Stanford, and before that, I worked as an engineering consultant for a couple years. I'm really excited to be a part of this organization that you all have put together. I think it's really exciting work, and I'm really passionate about decarbonization, and it's exciting to be part of a group that values that equally highly. I think you've got a really great group of people here, some of whom I did know a little bit before, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting to know the rest of them, and I think really bright, really focused, really driven towards achieving the mission that you've set out for them. So looking forward to it, looking forward to getting to know all of you a little bit better and contributing however I can. So.
Welcome,
thanks.
Justin. We think that jacket looks great on you.
Yes, yes, I'm modeling it for you all. It's really
Great.
some great swag, so.
Better than Palo Alto, right?
No comment.
Yeah. Smart man.
So he has a future in politics too. I'd also like to bring up that in our February meeting, I was planning on bringing up our summer schedule, and the board has typically taken a month off, and the last year we took August off, even though there was a preference for July because we had a regulatory item we really needed you to approve in July. Since we don't have that constraint this year, we are going to propose that we shut down for July. And I'd also like to make a proposal that the August meeting, which would be scheduled for August 14th, but move the August meeting by a week. So we'll have, and then if something comes up, obviously, that requires your attention, we'll call a special meeting. So I just want to give you a heads up that I'll bring that to you at the next month.
Which direction are you moving the August meeting?
Away, so it'll be to the third week of August.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah. So with that, I'm also going to ask, let me see. Yeah, so I'll ask Hillary to come up and give you an update on legislative and regulatory issues. And as she's coming up, I'd also say that PG&E has been in the news recently, and we will be going into closed session later today to talk about it. So we'll keep, if there are any comments on that, please keep it very general. I'll be providing you some information on that, but essentially we are monitoring the situation. PG&E is a partner of ours, and that's basically our message for you at this point.
Thank you, Girish. Hello, directors. Leaving aside that topic to be dealt with in closed session, there are a number of other things that we're looking at quite urgently going into the new year. So the first one is resource adequacy. A little bit of a refresher on that. We got a proposed decision back at Thanksgiving that would create a central procurement entity, in our case PG&E, in our service territory, for all local resource adequacy starting in 2020. So there were some, that was quite an abbreviated proceeding. The proposed decision came out, and that position that it put forth was not the preference of most of the stakeholders involved in the proceeding. So we have been working on ex parte meetings with commission advisors over the past week, in addition to many other stakeholders in CalCCA. And that proposed decision was recently delayed until the 31st of January. So there's still, unfortunately, that means there's still a lot of uncertainty in general as to what's going to be going on with local resource adequacy, but it does give us more time to see a revised proposed decision that we hope would change quite substantially the model to a residual central buyer that would allow us to still procure our own local resource adequacy. So we have some time on that. Time is good. We're hoping the commission will use it to improve the proposed decision, which we have not yet seen. So stay tuned for that one. PCIA, we're delving straight into track 2. So that's, if you recall, the proposed decision happened last October. Everything that we need from that proceeding for the 2019 PCIA is complete. So what we're working on in the PCIA proceeding now will not impact us until 2020 for implementation. But we are starting to put together some working groups with PG&E and other stakeholders at the Commission's behest to elaborate on some of the issues that were mentioned in the Track 1 decision. And then finally, rate making. As you know, as we were last year, delayed in implementation of the new PCIA and PG&E generation rates. So currently, there is a proposed decision in the ERA, the Energy Resource Recovery Account proceeding that determines the PCI numbers, on the docket for Thursday's voting meeting at the Commission. So if that proposed decision is accepted, we are on track for, at the earliest, around a March 1st implementation of PG&E's new rates. So we are looking again at a few months of delay. Again, like last year, that will not impact the amount ultimately that we need to pay in the PCIA, just the schedule. So we'll know after Thursday if that's accepted, but we are winding down that process despite substantial delay. And then on integrated resource planning, that's in kind of a lull right now. We're looking at about to get the final proposed decision with the preferred system plan impacts, which is the emissions trajectories that they modeled when they combine all the IRPs that were submitted last August. So we're about to wrap up California's first cycle of integrated resource planning. And as you noted, Girish, we will not have to do another IRP until 2020. So this summer we get a little bit of a break on that particular piece. On the legislative side, we're doing our first round of meetings of the session with legislators. So we're doing kind of introductory, here's what we've accomplished in the past year, here are high-level priorities. New bills are due for introduction on February 22nd. So after that, we will be able to come forth with some more concrete recommendations about specific bills. And at that point, probably in March, we will be looking at doing another full Sacramento Lobby Day like we did for the first time last year. So I'll be in touch on that. But in the meantime, we're maintaining our communication with legislators and generally getting geared up, looking at early bills that are coming out and getting ready for a very intense session, as you know, because there are a lot of issues on the table that are going to impact us in a very big way. Anything else to cover? Any questions, comments? All right. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'll just end with, as we've talked about previously, we'll be bringing you our rate proposal in March for approval. We'll provide you an update in February. As per the budget, we're still on target to have a 1% discount versus PG&E, which is different than the 6% discount that we have currently. So with that, that's the end of the report.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board up here or comments? All right, let's move on to item number 3. Item number 3 you'll see is actually 2 specific items to elect a chair and a vice chair for the upcoming year, 2019. I'd like to separate out the 2 since we only have 1 candidate for chair, and let's discuss that one first. First, let me invite anyone else who wants to make a last-minute self-nomination. If anybody has showed up tonight and wants to throw their hat in the ring, let that be known now, and we can discuss it. Otherwise, I'd like to move forward with Margaret's desire to be our next chair. She's been a suitable vice chair to me in every way and has my full support. So if no one wants to say anything otherwise, I'd love a motion.
I move the nomination of Margaret.
Can you put your mic on for me? I want to make sure everybody knows.
Thank you. Okay. I move the nomination of Margaret Abicoga for chair for 2019.
Second?
Terrific. Any other discussion? Margaret, would you like to say anything?
Well, I don't want to be presumptuous, but
So far, nobody's jumped in. I think it's pretty safe.
I just want to actually thank you, Chair Corrigan, for all of your leadership this past year. I think I have big shoes to fill. I've already been hearing, I hope you can run meetings as efficiently as Chair Corrigan has. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with you as your vice chair, and I will do my best to meet up to the standards that you've set. So thank you.
Thank you. You have a free pass to butcher everyone's name. I think that's about all you need to do to replicate my tenure here. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Can I get a vote? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? It passes unanimously. Thank you. So let me just ask a quick question. Now that we have a new chair, should she run the next appointment, or should I continue this item?
It's up to the board. Oftentimes that is done that way, where then the new chair would then run the vice chair, but it's up to the board how you want to do that.
Ready to jump in?
Sure, unless you'd like to keep going.
I'm perfectly happy to let you take over. How about that? And then why don't we do this? We'll go ahead and switch seats now, and then once we're finished with the second appointment, as I understand it, it would be appropriate to take a quick break and maybe reshuffle everybody. Does that suit you? Does it matter?
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
As you can see, I'm winging it here. Okay, super. So let's go ahead and trade seats.
Okay.
And I'll take my name tag with me. There you go. Thank you. Just so nobody's confused.
You look so much alike.
People have said that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I need my green pen. All right.
All right.
During this interlude, would it be appropriate to offer ex-Chair Corrigan a round of applause for the excellent job that she did?
Yes. I will thank you for that, and I will tell you, it has been a real honor and pleasure to do it this year. You're a great group of people to work with, which makes it exceptionally easy, but none of it would be as smooth sailing without the incredible staff we have at SVCE, including our new CEO, which I'm proud to say we hired under my chairmanship, and the rest of you guys are incredible. The work you do is truly inspiring, and it has been an absolute pleasure.
And I'd like to say congratulations to Margaret for accepting the electric chair.
Yeah, I feel it buzzing already. Great.
Do you have an appropriate song to go with that, Rod?
Well, with that, we'll move on to this election of the vice chair. And we do have 2 letters of interest, but before we move to those 2 candidates, is there anyone else from the dais who would like to throw their name in? No. Okay, so actually, I'm not sure how we do this with 2. I guess, could we, yes, why don't we start off, and if you'd like to give a minute or 2, Nancy would, Howard, all right.
I'll go first. Howard Miller from Saratoga, but you probably already know that. I've been involved with Silicon Valley Clean Energy on the board since we formed the JPA. My city is advocates, obviously, of clean energy. We're the first city with free charging for our public employees. We put in the DC fast charge. Thank you, Rod, for that grant. Too bad Cupertino can't use that same grant. I love energy.
Well, you know, we don't have as many Teslas as you all do.
Oh, yeah, okay. I've loved clean energy my entire life. I'm into solar, I'm into hot water, I'm into every way that we can save energy. I love SCVE, Silicon Valley Clean Energy. I've served on pretty much most of the committees. I was on both CEO search committees, which was an honor to have had a hand in hiring both CEOs. I was appointed to the original executive committee and the original risk oversight. When we formed the finance committee, at the request of Member Bruins, I dropped off of the executive committee as to not be on all of the committees to take a role in the finance committee. I have had my fingerprints on many aspects of our policies, ranging from the carbon-free. I was the guy who keeps pointing out carbon and renewable aren't the same. A lot of stuff on our financing. Remember, we did the bridge financing. I was the one who advocated for making sure that we borrowed way more money than we needed, just in case, which staff implemented beautifully as a line of credit. And then Milpitas. I was the one who lobbied, Milpitas council members. Lobbied is the polite word for twisting their arms for months and months and months and months and months. And I even showed up at several Milpitas city council meetings, bringing our lobbying effort there, and ultimately they joined. So I think I have the background and knowledge, and I think I have the enthusiasm and the dedication, and I would love to be your vice chair this year.
Thank you. Director Smith?
Yes, well, thank you. I'm very thankful that you're considering me tonight for vice chair, and it would be an honor to serve as the SVCE vice chair in 2019. I would like to say that I understand that Director Miller stepped aside last year to let Margaret run, and I think that was very gallant of him, and I think he'd serve the committee well. I am not stepping aside once I found out that he was running, because I feel it's healthy for the organization to have options. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed with my candidacy. And I would like to thank Chair Abe Koga for her service last year as vice chair and for setting a great example. I see the key role of the vice chair as assisting the chair on performing her duties. whether it's running meetings in her absence, promoting events and successes of the organization, or meeting with regional agencies for advocacy, to name a few things. In my 24 months of serving SVCE, first as an alternate and then as a board member and executive committee member, I've been diligently advocating for policies that help our mission to bend the carbon curve and advocating against policies that make our mission that much more difficult. My background in chairing organizations of various sectors has prepared me well to step into the role of vice chair of SVCE, and I feel I have the temperament and skills to be a good vice chair. So I humbly ask for your consideration tonight.
Great, thank you. So, any other discussion? If not, do we do a roll call?
Well, what we should do here is actually have a nomination. So we have two candidates, and so it would be appropriate then to call for the nominations, and there could be one or two nominations now to be considered this evening. And if there's nominations and seconded for both candidates, then we would have a voice vote, and there will need to be 7 affirmative votes ultimately to select the vice chair, because all of our actions require a 7-vote majority vote of the full board. So that would be what I suggest now is to ask for the nominations of the two candidates we have before us.
Great, thank you. So with that, are there any nominations for either of the candidates? Yes, Director Cortese?
Nominations are open for, include the individuals who have already essentially placed themselves in nomination?
Yes.
That is correct. No one else has expressed any interest.
I would nominate Nancy Smith.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Great, thank you. Other nominations?
So I'll nominate Howard Miller.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we will go now to a voice vote,
Yes.
or a roll call vote.
Do we have a chance to just make a comment quickly
Oh,
before
sure,
we?
yes.
Yes.
You guys aren't making this very easy, unfortunately, because you're both so terrific and you have both contributed such incredible time and energy to SVCE. So I wish you both well and thank you both for stepping up to do the job. This is not going to be an easy vote, I hate to say, but thank you for stepping up.
Great. Any other comments? If not, we will start the roll call.
Thank you. Alternate Director Enda.
I'll vote for Director Miller.
Thank you. Alternate Director Yulo.
Director Miller.
Thank you. Director Smith.
Director Smith.
Thank you. Director Miller.
Director Miller.
Director Sinks.
Smith.
Director Sayok.
Director Miller?
Chair Abby Koga.
Director Miller.
Director Corrigan.
Director Miller.
Director Gibbons.
Director Miller.
Director Cortese.
Director Smith?
Director Bruins.
Director Smith.
Thank you. That's 7 votes Miller, 4 for Smith, 2 absences.
Yes.
Great. Congratulations, Director Miller, Vice Chair Miller. Okay, do we need to take a break or can we keep?
Can I ask a
Yes.
question that I guess the council is, from a parliamentary standpoint, can we take a vote of acclamation to ratify the?
No.
That would be fine. Yes, if that motion could be entertained.
Unanimous vote on the record, should that be the case?
Sure, that'd be appropriate at this point in time.
I'd like to move that, a ratification vote of our
Electeds.
Director Miller as our new vice chair.
I'll second that.
Great, any other discussion on that? No? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Vice Chair Miller. Do we need to take a break or do you want to keep
No,
going?
not necessary.
Okay. All right, let's keep going then. We're going to move on to item 4, the appointment of directors to the Executive Committee for 2019. Am I doing this or? Your shirt. Are you?
I think this would be something, again, this is a board item. We have the executive committee, we have 5 members who have expressed interest. Andrea sent out the notices quite a few times, and we have 5 members who have expressed interest. So I think Chair Abikoga have to entertain maybe nominations, and we only have 5
Yes.
that are on our exec committee right now. We changed bylaws to.
If I may, so looking at the list now, it seems appropriate that I step off and Director Miller takes my place, so that he and Director Smith can both serve on the executive committee, as well as the remaining chair, Director Gibbons, Director Sinks. Does that make sense to everybody?
Make a motion.
Yes.
Thank you for stepping aside.
My pleasure.
Are you making a motion?
I would,
Yes.
if appropriate at this point, I would make a motion that we recommend the members of the executive committee to be Chair Abikoga, Vice Chair Miller, Director Gibbons, Director Sinks, and Director Smith.
I'll second that.
Great. Any other discussion on that item? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Congratulations to the executive committee, and we will do the other committees next month.
Yes. Yes.
Great. Moving on to item 6, Finance and Administration, item 5, Executive Committee Report. Is there a report from the Executive Committee? No? If not, item 6, Finance and Administration Committee Report. Is there a report? Nothing to report. Great. Well, we'll move on to, okay. Item number 7, Legislative Ad Hoc Committee Report.
We have not met, so I have no report.
Okay, and we'll move on to number 8, Audit Committee Report. Any?
We have nothing to report either.
Great. All right. Are there any other board member announcements or direction on future agenda items? Oh, yes, Director.
It's not a future, it's not a future agenda item. Well, I guess it is actually, in a way, because we'll be hearing about the purchasing policy. But I have to commend staff. This looks fabulous on our on our spaces here. We've at the last meeting in December, we approved $6 million over 2 years to bend the carbon curve downward, and by approving 11 programs. And staff has put together a nice 4-color brochure that is gorgeous, and I'm looking forward to looking through it. And
It's our answer to the Green Book, yeah?
Yes, and
This is great.
thank you for bringing that to our attention. That is Pamela Leonard and her amazing team that put this together in next to no time. It's just great.
Great. Yes.
And we have made only limited copies of this. We will be taking it up to Sacramento with us when we visit with our legislators and also with our regulators.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that, Director Smith. Anyone else? If not, is there anyone from the public wishing to comment on our closed session item? I don't see anyone, so.
And just to announce for the record here, we'll be going to close session to discuss anticipated litigation in the event that PG&E files for bankruptcy. So we'll be discussing what legal consequences to the agency would flow from that.
Great, thank you. So we will now recess to closed session, and then we will return with an announcement if there's a report. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Uh-oh, there we go. All right. Is there a report from the closed session?
No, there was no action taken in the closed session, so nothing to report.
Great, thank you. So we stand adjourned. Thank you all. See
Thank
you
you.
in February.
Perfect.